Who is Kamala Harris? Well, she is a progressive prosecutor and a leftist radical, basically, who is left of even Bernie Sanders and AOC. Um, I gotta wonder if voters feel bamboozled because here you have this woman who ran a campaign way back when to secure the Democratic nomination, and her campaign lasted all but 5 minutes. She was, I think, the first to drop out. Joe Biden got the nod because I guess he was next in line. So he became the Democratic nominee, and his only criteria for his VP pick was to get a woman of color. So essentially, Kamala Harris got the job based off her sex and race. And so, as you know, she's been border czar. She's been in charge of, she's had one responsibility, and that was being in charge of the border, the southern border. And well, look at the chaotic, hot mess that has been. So, anyway, so the Democrats pushed Joe Biden aside, and in walks Harris. And now is her time. But who is Kamala Harris? The media is trying desperately to hide her, to shield her, and to, I guess, protect her from being discovered. But if you start digging into the things that she has said in the past, what came out of her mouth back then, you know, she can say she's changed her mind all she wants. It's an election year, 3 months out of a major election. She's probably going to say anything to get elected, quite frankly. But I wrote down what she said back then, that I think this is the true Kamala, quite frankly. Kamala believes in ending private health care, private health insurance. So if you like your insurance and she gets in, that's too bad for you. She believes that the federal government should confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens and mandate a buyback program. She supports an increased tax rate that would essentially, beyond burden, even crush the middle class. She supports the Green New Deal. There's no surprise there. She supported the 2020 riots. You remember what comes to mind is Minneapolis, Minnesota. She supported the Minneapolis Freedom Fund, which let criminals out without bail, criminals who set fires to cop cars, looted businesses, destroyed property, untold millions of dollars in damages, and yes, even murders. So she believes in upending the system, and those were her exact words. She compared ICE to the KKK and believes that ICE should be abolished and dismantled. She believes that illegal immigration should be decriminalized and that you shouldn't even use the term illegal immigration. However, these are immigrants who are here illegally, so that is pretty much what you would call them. She believes that taxpayers should foot the bill to support these illegal immigrants by way of food and cash assistance, free housing and health care, etc. You see stories and watch videos of buildings being erected, brand spanking new, in places like New York, etc., and where the tenants, the locals, are looking at these buildings that are for illegal immigrants only. You know, there's a housing shortage in places like New York and etc. I know, I lived there, and it's crazy to me that there's housing being put up for illegals, but not for citizens. So anyway, there's that. She believes in banning fracking. She also believes in transgender surgeries for prisoners should be taxpayer funded and supported. Basically, taxpayers would be on the hook for these gender reassignments for trans felons that we should basically pay if they want to make the switch. And lastly, I put down here that she casted the deciding vote for the American New Deal, the American Rescue Plan is what it's called, which basically contributed greatly to the skyrocketing inflation that has been the scene ever since Biden and Harris took over. Keep in mind that Trump left office at a 1.9% rate, and when Biden and Harris took over, they like flipped the numbers, and the inflation rate was 9.1 at its highest. So this is who these people are, and this is who Kamala is. So I would just suggest to anybody, do your own research. Don't believe what you're spoon-fed based off the mainstream news, and dig deeper and discover for yourself who the real Kamala really is.